Good morning, gentlemen. Welcome to the Empress Club. This is the final chapter, or the final book in the three-part series of the Empress Club. And it's called Checkmate. This morning, we would be dealing with chapter 1, Grab the Bull by the Horns. Now, I'm going to start each chapter off with something I learned from, what is his name? The Angry Man. There's a quote by Fabulous. I'd rather have 10 lions than 1,000 sheep. Well, Fabulous said 100 sheep. I use 1,000 for effect. So when you hear me say 1,000, that's me taking artistic license. And gentlemen, you don't need a lot of people to accomplish much. That's why I love that saying. You don't need much people. So if I only have 10 people in the Empress Club, that's all that's needed. So if you're in the club and you look around, there's only a few of you, rejoice. Now, I'm no fan of Jay-Z, but what he said is so true. That song Pound Cake with him and Drake. Less is more. There's plenty of us. I love that. I love that. Now, I only listen to Jay-Z's music when Timbaland produces music. That's about it. Because Big Pimpin' is my national anthem from 2000 until now. And That's Your Chick. Woo! I love that song. And the remix. The remix is out of this world. Anyway, back on course. In chapter 1, Grab the Bull by the Horn. Now, before we begin, the importance of developing young man into being man was expressed very poetically by Confucius when he said that if the master beam is crooked, how then can the roof be straight? And gentlemen, I don't know if you're paying attention, but the old young man, you should be paying attention to the news and politics and mostly business. You should be paying attention to business at least, because it affects your money. Look at the scandals that have been rocking the business world. And they all have the same thing in common. Men with no character. And what happens once their character... Well, no, not their character has been exposed. When their dealings, because of their lack of character, has been exposed. So look, a perfect example is Enron. Enron almost caused an economic collapse around the world. It did. A handful of corrupt men crippled the world's economy. This is why character is so important in the Empress Club. And remember, the purpose of the Empress Club is to develop men into boys, make boys into men, and turn those men into leaders, agents of change, and shapers of destiny. And to do this, you're going to need to be able to handle power and large sums of money. And you can't rewrite, well, I wouldn't say rewrite history, redirect the course of human development if you're corrupt, if you're morally bankrupt. Because you know what happens when a man without character is given access to power. He destroys himself and then everyone else around him. So in the Empress Club, character is everything. Because one characterless leader can cause untold damage. All right, gentlemen, that's just me explaining the importance of character. I know some people like to ignore morals and principles and values, but it can't be ignored. It's like making concrete and you don't put cement in sand, and you don't put sand and rocks in the cement. When it dries, it's going to look hard, but when push comes to shove, it's going to fail you. It doesn't have the proper ingredients to give it strength. And that's what character does for man. Excuse me. Hey, oh, sorry about that. I just saw my brother-in-law's car drive by. That someone took the liberty of moving from his house. Well, the good thing is it wasn't working, but now I see it's driving. The person's driving it. So I was writing down the license number. I'm going to go to the police right now and report this. Well, but I'm done with this. I can't be distracted. Again, you saw focus came into play. Even though that's my brother-in-law's car, it's an old car. It wasn't working, but as much as I wanted, the person well, the real owner who came and took it out of the yard to pay for this, I gotta finish this. So first things first, grab the bull by the horn. Now, how this came about, I think I was in high school, and I was going from one class to the other, and I overheard my math teacher talking to one of my classmates, and he was telling her, I don't know what the conversation was. All I heard was, you have to grab the bull by the horns. Whenever, I was going to say problems, whenever challenges come up in your life, you're going to have to deal with it, and you must deal with it right away. And I was like, oh my goodness, that stopped me in my tracks. For some reason, that resonated with me, and then that became my way of dealing with life. Oh, the wind's blowing. We were supposed to get a cold front last night. It was not cold. That was the worst cold front I've ever had experienced in my life. It was hot last night. Well, anyway, the breeze blew the cell phone. So my teacher was saying, and gentlemen, this is true, challenges are going to show up in your life. And this is why I did the chapter on Mr. Murphy. Mr. Murphy is going to knock on your door. Now, he lived in my basement, and he was a tenant. And he never knew when to go home. But so, you're going to have to deal with Mr. Murphy. Challenges are going to show up in your life, gentlemen. So, from now, from the get-go, from the giddy up, know that it's coming. Be prepared for it. And your approach to it is to grab the bull by the horn. No. The thing my teacher said that was so wonderful was that if you don't grab the bull by the horn and you run away, a myriad of things are going to happen. One, you're going to diminish yourself and your faith in self and your belief in self. Because you didn't, I was going to say attack the problem. You didn't grab the bull by the horn. You didn't attack the problem. So you cause yourself to diminish. Two, because you didn't attack the problem or deal with the challenge and grab the bull by the horn and you ran away, he said that's going to allow fear to creep into your mind, which is going to compound the problem because now fear has entered your mind, and because you retreated from the bull and didn't grab it by the horns, the bull is going to get bigger. And the longer you take to deal with the bull, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and fear begins to cripple you and make you feel smaller than you are. Then he said that same energy, spirit, and mindset is going to take over the rest of your life. Just like the principal told the fat young man to fix his clothes up properly because he looks sloppy, because self-respect permeates every aspect of your life. Well, so will fear. And he said that your default setting in life will be to always run away. So and what he said there, that sooner or later, you still have to deal with that bull. And what he said is so true. And this is why I attack the bull. I don't even wait for him to show up. If he's coming, I'm running after him. he said that so much time is going to pass that you're also going to waste time. Then, but really got me, he said, now, if you had met the bull and grabbed him by the horns at the onset, you wouldn't have expelled as much energy as you're going to need to deal with him after you ran away. Because you got to find even more courage, because you allow fear to enter your life, and after it's taken root in your life, you now got to expel fear and deal with the bull, and time has been wasted. So he said, from the get-go, deal with the bull one time. Grab him by the head, grab him by his horns. Yeah, and you know, and he also said that, excuse me, in addition to that, because you run away from that bull, and since life is filled with challenges, there are other bulls that lined up after that one. So when, let's say, you let 2 years pass before you finally deal with the bull, now you get 2 years worth of bulls behind that. And plus, it stymies your growth because, excuse me, he was saying, I spoke to him after he spoke to the student, so this is where I got all this from. Like, he was saying that school, excuse me, is like a reflection of the spirit world. You don't graduate from 2nd grade to 3rd grade until you exhibit some mastery of 2nd grade, because you're going to need what you learn in the 2nd grade in order for you to function properly in 3rd grade. So not only have you wasted time, given fear root in your life, you've expended so much courage, far more than what is needed. I'm trying to see this guy's face who's driving this car. He has a hoodie on and he has his head down. Excuse me. Anyway, that's the gentleman who's driving around in my brother-in-law's car. Anywho, so he was like, once you run away from, let's say that bull was your first grade. Once you run away from that, you can't graduate to the other grades. But you're supposed to, one day with that first bull, graduate to the next. But you regress. So now you don't have the skills necessary and needed to graduate because you ran away. And on top of that, the challenges pile up on you because you were supposed to do, those challenges were sent by God to develop you, for you to grow. It's like when the butterfly and the chrysalis trying to escape. So you stymie your own growth by running away from that bull. And excuse me, this I know because Mr. Murphy was my neighbor and tenant. I grabbed the bull for every challenge came my way. I grabbed the bull. So I can't be falling behind in life. I can't give fear any room in my mind and psyche. I can't afford to waste time. Can't afford to lose time. I can't afford to let opportunities go. And that's another thing he says that you miss by running away instead of grabbing the bull by the horn. You don't learn anything new because you ran away from the bull in the first grade. Once you've dealt with that bull, you're supposed to go on to the second grade bull. But you spend 2 years running away, then you have to come back. So now, instead of going on to grade 4, in those 3 years, you're still in grade 1. So he's saying that there's a disconnect in your growth. Because your soul and spirit is supposed to be on the 4th grade level, but because you ran away, you're still in grade 1. So by the time you graduate grade 1, you're supposed to be in grade 4. So you're missing opportunities. So, and that's why he said, he told her, you've got to grab the bull by the horn. You're missing opportunities. Yes, the challenges are coming because it's like preparation. And he used an example of making steel. So he was like, the bull is the furnace that turns iron into steel. Now that was around 11th grade, and in 10th grade I came across Napoleon Hill, and he said the same thing. Adversity is the crucible for purification. Excuse me. And that's why I made the connection. And this is why I'm teaching you this and making it the first chapter in the final volume. A gentleman grabbing the bull by the horn has to be a way of life. You're going to be cheating yourself. You're going to be robbing yourself of opportunities. Because you don't know what lies beyond the purification process of each bull. It's just like learning a new skill. And you know, in the beginning, everything is difficult. But if you keep at it, you get better and better and better and better. It's akin to lifting weights. No one starts off lifting weights, lifting heavy weights. The first thing you got to learn is the proper form. Well, that's how I learned it. Doing the proper form. I was taught the proper form by just lifting the bar and doing reps, hundreds of reps at a time to get the form proper. And once you get the proper form, then you can start piling on the weights. And that's what grabbing the bull by the horn is. That's your spiritual and mental workout. So when challenges come in your way, into your life, gentlemen, look at it as you working out in the gym. As another teacher said, school is just like life. You don't graduate until you've mastered the grade, graduate to the next grade until you've mastered the grade where you are. So look at every bull that enters your life as your preparation for graduation. All right, let's make sure I get everything. Oh, no. I read a book called Gaijin by Mark Holden. Oh, gentlemen, you got to read Mark Holden's books. That's an educational of this world. Excuse me. Anyway, I read Gaijin in 2000, which is a long way from 1989 when I graduated high school. But the story reinforced the lesson of grabbing the bull by the horn, because one of the lessons the main character was taught by his sensei was to run into the danger. So the character had gotten hurt while surfing, and his mother's good friend, but which was really a boyfriend, he was a ninja, and he helped nurse the young man back to health by teaching him ninja. What you call it? Anyway, teaching him the principles and the training techniques and everything that comes with being a ninja. Now, after a while, he got better, and after dinner, he told the young man he has to go to bed early. He wanted to know why, because he told him that in the morning you're going to have to go right back in the water into because he was surfing. He had to go right back in the same beach where he was surfing, and he got hurt. Now, at first he was afraid, and then the ninja was like, "How do you deal with danger?" And the young man, you know, he just bowed his head because the principle of dealing with danger is to run right into it. Run into the danger. And the ninja was like, if you don't go back, but they call it the pipeline. I don't surf, but excuse me, he has to go back into the pipeline. What destroyed his body because it crippled his mind, because it instilled fear in him. So he has to go back and beat the pipeline. Of course, his mother wasn't happy, but she had asked him to help her son get better. So he told him, I got your son's body better, but if his mind is still stuck in the pipeline where he got hurt, he'll be crippled for life. And so the young man went back into the pipeline. He survived. He was a completely different person. The fear didn't grip him anymore. And when he went into Vietnam, running into the danger served him well, because the soldiers around him were petrified. But for him, it was like an ordinary day. It's like, while everyone was afraid, he ran into the danger. So it was like he danced through the bullets. And he carried that attitude with him for the rest of his life. Whenever he's in danger, run straight into it. I know it's a fictional story, but the principle is the same. The lesson is the same. No, I don't tell you to be foolish now, but from a mental and psychological point of view, run into the danger. And like the ninja told the mother, his body is healed, but his mind and spirit is still crippled. And in order for it to be healed, he has to run into the danger. And gentlemen, to be in the Emperor's Club, mind, body, and spirit must be sound. And the only way to do that is to run into the danger and grab the bull by the horns. Something just came to mind. So I'm probably going to have to do another book, but it's something you young men need to know. Anyway, I made a very, very good friend with a complete stranger at work in New York, just from one book. I'll mention no more, just because I didn't get permission to use his name, but I learned a valuable lesson that day about helping people and giving people direction. And that's what Napoleon Hill said: the greatest gift you can give another human being is direction. And gentlemen, I've got something special for you. All right, let me see my paper. Let me write this down. Excuse me. Yes, gentlemen, it will involve a lot of reading. Remember the quote from the United States Marine Corps University: leaders are what? Thank you very much. If you're paying attention, you should have been able to finish that. All right, let me check to see what else. Oh, okay, gentlemen, we're done. That's chapter 1. Grab the bull by the horn. All right, gentlemen, you're well on your way, as it is right now, to being kingmakers. Grab the bull by the horn, gentlemen. Thank you for your time, and goodbye. I catch you on the flip side in chapter 2. Practice makes permanent. Goodbye, gentlemen.